So, Josh, can you tell us a little bit about Dr. John McDougall and his first work experience in Hawaii?
Yes. So Dr. McDougall is one of the earliest investigators of the value of plant-based nutrition, and what launched him on that in that direction is a couple of factors. First, he ate so poorly as a young man that I think even before he uh, was in his 20s, he had experienced a stroke, and he went into medicine, and his very first job was being a doctor of plantations throughout Hawaii. And what he witnessed, there were thousands of uh, Japanese and Filipino and Chinese that had moved to Hawaii, and he saw three generations, and each generation had a different way of eating. So there were the oldest, the people who were born in Japan, in the Philippines, and China, that ate the way that they ate when they grew up in their native country, which was mostly rice and vegetables. And then there were their children, the middle-aged children, who ate mostly a combination of plant-based foods, some processed foods, animal-based foods. And then there were the grandchildren that were completely Americanized. They ate mostly what we eat in affluent cultures like our own. And what he noticed is that the oldest, the grandparents, they worked well into the 80s and 90s. They had none of the degenerative conditions that are so plentiful in cultures like our own. And then he saw their children who were in their middle 40s, 50s, and they had some of the diseases that are so present in our culture. And then the grandchildren who were obese and just what we have here in the United States. And that really impacted him, and he did a lot of research about that. And he now has a practice where he is very outspoken and uses plant-based nutrition, whole food plant-based nutrition, to care for his patients. And he wrote a book called The Starch Solution. And the thing about the starch solution is, if you ask anybody what they think about starchy foods, most people would think that that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of us have more weight than we care to carry around with us. The potatoes and the rice and the corn and the breads. But it turns out that in studies about the history of our species, the civilizations that have lasted the longest because most of what they ate, the staple for what they ate, were starchy foods. Were the potatoes. It was different types of grains, rice, and corn. And so he's got people losing weight following a diet where there's a lot of starchy foods in their diet. And you type in any type of condition with his name on it, and you'll probably find a video going through Google where he'll talk about the results of his studies and the research that's been done about the different types of foods and what's so good about starchy foods.